mainly has to do with issues that will arise if I do not adhere to the parameter. For example, impurities. All right, you are welcome to another edition of Sharing Trades Information on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. And in today's video, I'll be talking about what you must know about the product you want to export. What you must know, what you must know about the product you want to export. Now, I've talked about what you must know about the product you have selected for the export market. I've talked about what you must know about the product you have selected for the export market. What is different in this video is, now I've selected the product, what I must know about that product, and there are some similarities which I will talk about. What must I know? So for example, and I'll use an example here. So I'll use example, let's say I'm doing raw cashew nut. Let's look at commodities. So I will use raw cashew nut as an example. Raw cashew nut. Raw cashew nuts as an example. Raw cashew nuts as an example. So what are the important information you must know? Remember, I have checked it and I have ascertained that raw cashew nut is the product I want to export. Now, I've checked, I've been able to identify that this is a viable export product. That was the last video. Is raw cashew nut viable? Yes. So now that I want to export raw cashew nut, what must I know about it? Number one, the purpose. Number one is the purpose. What do I mean by purpose? Purpose has to do with what do they use this product for in the export market? You know, okay, let me paint the picture for you. So for cashew nut, for example, the countries that buy cashew nut are very few. Two major countries, India and Vietnam, two major. Other ones very few. But the country that buy cashew kernel are plenty. What is the purpose why they buy raw cashew nut? They buy basically to process into cashew kernel and to sell to people that use it for all sorts of things, confectionaries, food item, and different things where they put raw cashew nut. And those that use cashew shell liquid, because I know, okay, these are the countries that mainly process raw cashew nut into whatever it is they process into. It gives me an idea. What's the purpose of buying? To process, for export. On what export? So you plant cashew nuts in West Africa, you ship to Asia, they convert, remove the shell to kernel and ship to Europe, and European will roast it and put it in different kind of stuff. Different food item, mainly food item. Some will do cashew paste, some will do cashew liquid, cashew, I've forgotten the name now, cashew butter that is used for a number of things. So it's good to know the purpose. It helps you to know sometimes even the quality specification they want, which should take me to the next one, which is the parameters. Parameters has to do with quality specification. For example, quality specification, for example, number one, moisture content. Contract will state it. Number 2, not count, contrary with stated. Number 3, kernel output ratio, contrary with stated. Number 4, impurities. Now you see this specification I'm mentioning. Why they are very important is because you need to ensure that the contract you are signing with your buyer have these parameters. So I said cashew nut as a case study, not count, kernel output ratio, moisture content, impurity, floaters, different specification. Some people call kernel output ratio outturn. Number 3, potential. I've mentioned this in another video. Potential, or you can call it potential demand. Potential. By potential I mean, who are those buying? What is the volume of demand? That you must know about the volume of demand of this item. Potential demand in the global market. Potential demand in the global market. What is the potential demand for this product? The next is packaging. You know, a product that will have issue in transit to destination, one of the product issue will be packaging. So let me say something about packaging agricultural commodities. So for example, you need to know that this product is moisture sensitive. Remember there is moisture here. So for this product, for example, it's expected that the moisture should be between 8 and 10%. Between 8 and 10%. This product should be packed in a jute bag. If you use PP bag, that white bag of rice that is made from polypropylene, if you use PP bag, it will make it to begin to grow. It forms a lot of heat because there is no ventilation, pores on the sack. For jute bag have pores on the sack. Packaging. Even before you put it in the container will be prepared. Container preparation. In container preparation, they will line the container on the side and under with paper, and then they will put dry bag. Dry bag is to absorb moisture. The dry bag is to absorb moisture. While the goods in transit, we've had cases where people ship this kind of product to destination and the item is growing in the container. It's growing in the container because the moisture content, the moisture level is too high. It's growing in the container. So packaging, using the right kind of bag, preparing the container, and ensure you put dry bag to absorb moisture in transit and route to destination. The next is paperwork. By paperwork, I mean documentation. Remember, I've said repeatedly, the international trade is likely a business of documentation. Why is international trade a business of documentation? Good can be in transit for months, and buyer can pay before he sees the goods. And what will the buyer to pay? Because the buyer seen documentation. And that's the basis for the procurement. That's the basis for payment. What are the documents? For example, if you are exporting, you will have pre-export document, you will have post-export document. What are the pre-export documents? Let me see if I can write it here. Pre-export document. You have, in Nigeria, you have the NXP, which is pretty much declaration. You are using it to declare intention to export. You will have an export license in Nigeria, for example, or export certificate. You will have a pro forma invoice, and you pay what is called NES fee, Nigerian Export Supervision Scheme fee. And you will do a pre-shipment inspection. Agent of government will issue clean certificate of inspection, CCI, and custom will issue SGD, single good declaration. On the post-export, Buyer will be expecting to issue a bill of lading since it's going by sea. Buyer will be expecting a commercial invoice. Buyer will be expecting a packing list showing how the good is packed. Buyer will be expecting a certificate of origin. Some buyer also will expect a phytosanitary certificate, and some buyer will expect a fumigation certificate. Phytosanitary certificate, fumigation certificate, post-export, pre-export. Remember, we are checking what you must know. You see, this document is not the same for everyone. This document is different. If I'm doing solid mineral, this document are going to be different. There are similarities, no doubt, but they're going to be different. Now, the next thing is the pricing of the goods. The pricing of the goods, that's number 6. The pricing. Pricing. What are the things I need to know about pricing? I need to know all the cost elements. What are the cost elements? That, let me put here number 7 so I can create some space. Cost elements. If I'm exporting this product, I will not need to know the product cost. I will need to know the transport to the port. I will need to know the cost of warehousing. I need to know the cost of inspection. I will need to know if I am the one doing, if it's CFR contract, I will need to know the cost of freight, that's transport to destination. I will need to know the cost of insurance. I will need to know the cost of freight forwarding, that's the agent carrying the good for export. I will need to know the freight charge. I will need to know that the cost of transport destination. I will need to know the terminal handling charge. Terminal handling charge. I will need to know the cost of stuffing at the terminal. And then I will make room for what some people call miscellaneous. Miscellaneous costs, all other costs. So now, before I agree on pricing, I will have done all my analysis and costing and be sure that after all these costs have been put together, I am still profitable. Remember, I'm saying what you must know about the product. What you must know about the product. What you must know about the product. The product you have chosen to export. The product you have chosen to export. What must you know about it? The last one is the pitfall. Pitfalls. Pitfall basically has to do with issues that will arise if I do not adhere to the parameter. For example, impurities. For example, moisture. For example, size. For example, the kind of bagging I use. All this could create a pitfall and create a problem for me. Impurities. If the impurity level is too high, you know, international trade is a game of weight. So if I put stuff in a sack and half of the sack is impurities, wood, tiny wood, leaves, and this is adding to the weight. The implication of that is that I would not be fair to the buyer who is paying for raw cashew nut, but I'm sending to the buyer debts, impurities, waste, things he doesn't need. That is even still better, because what that means is that if I do impurity, they can even discount when they do analysis. But what of moisture? Moisture means the cashew nut will be growing inside the container. Moisture means the cashew nut will be growing inside the container. Moisture means the cashew nut will be growing inside the container. If the cashew nut is growing inside the container, that means the cashew nut is already getting damaged already. That means it might be a total loss. Size, maybe it's now a small size. It's supposed to be a big size. Talking about parameter again, talking about nut count. If the nut count for a cashew nut, for example, if the nut count is 117 and below, that means it's big nut. Because the smaller, the bigger the nut, the smaller the nut count. But if the nut count is 180, 190, that means it's small nut. And all these affect the pricing. And then bagging. What kind of bagging am I doing? Before I close, what must you know about the product you want to export? And in the next video, I'm going to talk about what must you know about the product you want to import. What must you know about the product you want to import? That's what I'll talk about in the next video. But this video is what must you know about the product you want to export. Number one, the purpose. What is the product used for? Number two, the parameter. What are the specifications of the product that I must adhere to? Number three, the potential. Where is the market and what is the volume of demand? Number four is the packaging. How must I package this product to ensure it gets to the destination in the right form? Number five is paperwork. How must I? What are the documentation requirements for this product? Number six is pricing. What are the cost elements and am I going to be profitable? And number seven is pitfall. What must I avoid to ensure that these export products arrive at the destination in the right condition, such that the buyer will be willing and ready to pay me? Thank you very much for this video and for stopping by to watch this video. See you in the next video and bye for now.